right, good morning, everybody. You'll know this one, so if you know the words, please sing along with me. Thanks for keeping time, everybody.
Hello and welcome, everyone, and to those online. My name is Christine Roth. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at CSL Northern Colorado. I am stepping in for Reverend Leah this evening. We have a wonderful speaker for you tonight, Kelly Robbins. So I'll introduce her in just a little bit. So let's just take a moment to recognize we are an inclusive community honoring all faith traditions, lifestyles, and beliefs. Wherever you are on your journey, you are absolutely welcome here. So let's take a moment to recite our vision and mission together. It's coming. It's coming. Spirit is in this place, pulling it up right now. Maybe. I don't want to have to tap dance up here. All right, well, if you know what it is by heart. Anyone? Maybe after I start it, you'll remember and can recite it with me, okay? We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. In our mission, to gather together to express love, practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and connect with one another and with spirit. So let's just take a moment to get centered. I will pray us in, and then we'll do a brief chanting meditation, and then Julie will gift us with a song. So let's just get centered for a moment. As I breathe in, I welcome and awaken that presence of spirit, that one power, that one heart, that one mind, that one unconditional love that I call God, knowing that it is the infinite source of absolutely all that there is. Feeling one in this presence, in this unity, in this light. Knowing that each and every one of us are one in that presence. For our hearts and minds harmonize in this very breath, in this very moment. We are unified as one in spirit. And so what I know for this evening is that, that we awaken to that great grand expression of love that is here, that is being expressed through myself, through Kelly, through our music, through our team that comes together to pull this and set this up for us, through each one of you who has walked through those doors tonight, and through all of you that are online. I know that we are absolutely beating with the same heartbeat and the same breath in that presence of love as we come here to give and receive and exchange that highest vibration, knowing that that is God at work in this very room, in this very moment, through each one of us. And I give great thanks for knowing this truth, for the power of this word, for knowing that we are such a loving community here, that we are all committed to. As I release these words to law, knowing there's nothing more to do than to simply let them be and allow them to just rest in that presence of love. And I anchor it all by saying, and so it is. Amen.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. One more time. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. The song that I chose to go before the talk today, I saw the description of the talk and tried to choose something that would be on theme. And this song, I think, is really about humility and about recognizing the patterns and the responses that we've kind of hardwired into ourselves, and realizing that it doesn't have to be that way and that we can rewire some of those automatic responses and instincts. This is a song called I Can Change by Lake Street Dive. Hate casts a long shadow. I know that I lie in it and let it rule my mind from time to time. Escape in an old battle clings on like a vine to me and whispers dirty lies in my ear. And I know we didn't start this fight. And I won't let it rule my heart tonight. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. Tracing an old pattern, drawing the lines from where I am and where I want to be. Forget that old adage that history continues to keep us from the world we want to see. I am scared that I won't get it right, but fear won't rule my heart tonight. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change.
All right, so before I introduce Kelly, let's just take a moment to harmonize our heart and mind. So hands on your heart and just say it with me. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion, care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. All right, so I'm excited to introduce Kelly Robbins. Kelly is passionate about inspiring each of us to cut fresh tracks in our lives, which is why she is studying ministry at Centers for Spiritual Living. Kelly's mission is to assist seekers in understanding how they use universal law and the power of knowing their oneness with God. Kelly is the author of Trust Your Next Step, Creating the Confidence to Cut Fresh Tracks. She produces the Fresh Tracks with Kelly Robbins podcast and publishes the Edge newsletter. Kelly believes that by living our divine purpose, approaching life as a fun adventure, and trusting our next step, we can all live our lives filled with purpose and passion. Her talk this evening is Who's the Cookie Thief? So please help me welcome Kelly.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here today. A woman was waiting at an airport one night with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what would he do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and he broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other, and she snatched it from him and she said, "Oh, brother, this guy has some nerve, and he's also rude. Why, he didn't even show any gratitude." She had never known when she had been so galled, and she sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at the thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and she sat in her seat, and then she sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached into her bag, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. "If mine are here," she moaned in despair, "the others were his, and he tried to share." Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. That's called The Cookie Thief by Valerie Cox. And isn't that poem so insightful? How many of us, besides me, have done that totally before, been so annoyed at someone, and it was all my fault in the first place? So today we're going to look at how oblivious we can be to how wrong we can be, right? And really, why we should not make assumptions too quickly, because things are not always as they appear. How was this woman being in this poem? She was being annoyed. She was irritated. She was being very self-righteous, right? She was being judgmental. But she thought she was being nice. She thought she was avoiding the scene by doing the right thing, right? But inside she was seething. So I'm going to ask you to take a minute and think of someone or something in your life that is just annoying you, just driving you crazy, even angering you. It could be a relationship you have with someone. It could be your job, like an event, going to work every day. It could be a physical. But I don't know if I'm the one doing that or not. Think of some, bring it to mind, because as we go on today, we're going to come back to this. over and over. So it could be something going on in your community. So something irritating you, annoying you, angering you. We often don't want to look at these feelings because they don't feel good. And, we often don't want to look at things that we don't feel like it's spiritual. Like where's God in anger? Right? Where's spirit in anger? It feels really unspiritual to be angry or annoyed at someone. Like, we're not supposed to do that, especially me. I'm like a minister. I'm not supposed to be angry at people or annoyed, and yet it happens, right? And in fact, anger, the irritation, the annoyance is an alert system for us that we can take that opportunity to look at what's really going on underneath it. So we're pulling up some event, something that's triggering us into annoyance or anger. And I want to start with something that sounds very simple, is, are you aware of what you're feeling? And no human here, really probably on this planet, would say, no, I know what I'm feeling. Like, people don't say, I don't know what I'm feeling. And yet, I don't know that we always do. I don't know that we've been raised to pay attention to our feelings. We suppress a lot of feelings. When I was turning 40, around my 40th, it was right at my 40th birthday, I found this meditation class. I live in Broomfield. The meditation class was in Lakewood, so it was a little bit of a drive, but I think I had a free coupon or something, and I went, and I decided to buy the 5 weeks of this meditation class. It evolved into this 2-year program that I kept taking because it was pretty fun, and we did other things besides meditate. But in the beginning, the woman had us sit, and we learned how to ground and do the different things with energy, and she had us pull up colors. Like yellow, and we'd be in our spot. What does yellow feel like? And I'm like, really? What does purple feel like? What does green feel like? And I'm like a go person I had a hard time with it. Every week we would bring up these different colors. And after a while, I started kind of, I could feel the yellow and feel the purple. And as the classes went on and on over time, and we kept practicing, I started really feeling things a lot, and it was overwhelming to my body that I kind of didn't want to, and some of it, there was a part of me that knew it was right to feel these emotions and these different things and let my body kind of course through it and acclimate to feeling the vibration. So I kind of laugh and say no one would ever say we don't know what we're feeling, and we haven't always been taught how to feel anger without suppressing it. We're often raised in a home or in schools where it's not okay to be rude or to be irritated or angry or express these things. So I put this out there for you to think about later, is, are you feeling your feelings? Are you aware of what you're feeling? And our bodies, our human bodies, we have this huge spectrum. We have love that's so powerful and amazing, and kindness and these emotions down here. And then at the other end, we have anger and irritation. Like, there's this huge spectrum. And I say that they're all spiritual emotions. They're not, these are good and these are bad. They're all part of our human experience, and they're all spiritual. When we feel anger or irritation, I'm going to play with anger because it's stronger than the woman in the poem was really irritated. But with anger, there's usually a boundary that's been crossed, or we have a need that's not been met. And it's okay to acknowledge that and look at it. Well, what's going on with that? Our quest, our challenge, is to be still enough to listen to the message. That message of anger, what is it trying to tell me? Slow down enough. I know when I get angry, slowing down isn't usually going to happen, but it might be a day or two later when I could go back, gosh, man, she really ticked me off. What's going on? What's going on with that? And sometimes it's the same people, but what's underneath it? It can take time to go look, but that is the spiritual piece of our human experience, is to take the time to look at that. Spirituality is not about avoiding our feelings. It's about digging underneath to find out what's really going on so that we can look at it and do a healing or make an adjustment so that we're not so triggered. It's about being honest, and it's about caring for ourselves enough to take the time to do it. Because we all have inner wounds that need healed, right? You guys, are you familiar with those Karen memes? Do you all know Karen? Right? Karen is this white woman, usually, who's just raging out of control at Starbucks or at the woman walking her dog. And we see it on social media a lot. It's funny sometimes. And my gosh, this poor Karen, she's so angry and so out of control. That she's got this huge wound. What is this about? This poor Starbucks clerk is getting it. And we can kind of laugh, but it's an image that we can relate to. We don't want to explode like that. We're here to do this work so that that doesn't happen. And the question becomes, who controls your anger? Who controls Karen's anger? Is it Karen or the clerk that did something wrong, or the woman walking her dog? It's Karen. Who controls your anger? We pull up our situation that we brought up at the beginning of the talk. Who controls your anger? There's a monk at a monastery, and he decided that he wanted to go off and be by himself and meditate alone for several hours. So he left the monastery. He got in a boat and went into the middle of a lake where he was all alone, and he put his Zen on and meditated for several hours. It was very peaceful. He got exactly what he wanted. And then he felt a boat hit his boat. Somebody hit him when he was in, and his anger went whoosh, and he felt the anger rise up, and he opened his eyes to just really rip into this person who disturbed his peaceful meditation. And he saw that the boat was empty. There was no one to yell at. And in that moment, he realized that the anger is within him. And the boat, the outside person, the object, is the one that triggered his own anger so he could recognize the wound to heal. That's an insightful story by Thich Nhat Hanh. I didn't make that one up. The anger is inside me, but it's so reflective, right? The boat. Imagine the person or the event that we pulled up at the beginning of our talk if it was an empty boat and not your sister or your coworker. But what if that's just the empty vessel that's hitting you to trigger you, saying, hey, alert system, ding, 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 ding. Are you ready to work on this now? It's time. Ding, ding, ding. Because everything is a projection. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you can look at this person or this situation differently, perhaps as an empty boat or a vessel that's here for you as a gift for your healing, maybe you can see your own space in it a little differently. But a lot of people don't want to do that, especially spiritual-minded people. We have a term, spiritual bypass. Have you guys heard of that term? People throw it around, and of course none of us do it. But a spiritual bypass is when we hide behind our spirituality. We hide behind our spiritual practices. And what we're really doing is sidestepping the work that needs to be done. We're trying to make it pretty. And we're hiding or suppressing our unresolved issues in the name of our spirituality. And we'll go meditate on it, or we'll go pray, I'll pray. But we're not doing the work. The work is ugly and messy and takes time and determination oftentimes. Why do we do a spiritual bypass? Because we judge ourselves for not being perfect. We have shame. Oh my gosh, I've been meditating and in this spiritual practice for 20 years. I should know better. And we don't want to tell people about it because there's shame behind that. Especially me, I'm a minister, right? Like there's this expert practitioner. We have these things that we hold ourselves up to, that we're not supposed to get angry or irritated with people. We're not supposed to be human. So we hide it. So I'm a skier, and I was getting divorced. It was maybe a year or two after I was getting divorced. It took forever. It seemed like I went skiing one day, and I'm driving home, and I find this coupon in my car. I don't know. I was talking to my daughter on the phone, and I had this coupon for a free boxing class, and it expired the day that I was skiing. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But I really wanted to try boxing. And I was talking to my oldest daughter on the phone, and she's like, Mom, just go. It's a free boxing class. Who cares if you're tired from skiing? Just go. So I'm like, all right. So I go. There's this place in Westminster called LA Boxing that I had the coupon. I go to LA Boxing. They give you gloves and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to show up. I'm so tired. Skiing's hard. I was tired from skiing. But I went and I took the class, and I kind of boxing and getting into it, you do kicks, and after a while I started kind of picturing my ex-husband, to be honest, and I was just really getting into it. I was punching, and I had never done anything like that before, and when I was done, I went home and I was like, that was the best thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I released so much, and I thought, and this is a true story, I thought, oh my God, I've been doing yoga for 20 years. And this one free boxing class had so much healing in it, right? So I signed up for a year of boxing classes because why not? But yoga's the thing to do. But really, boxing was what I needed to do to work through and release. I didn't realize how much I had been being kind and doing the right thing and being right for my kids, and not I was suppressing things that needed to get out, and I didn't have an outlet for it. So when I say we have unresolved issues that we do spiritual bypass, sometimes we need to go do boxing and put not that yoga's bad or meditating's bad, but some things need different things. When we talk about self-care and loving ourselves, there's different ways to do that, and they're not all yoga and meditation classes. That was something I'll always remember was that moment when I went, I've been doing yoga for 20 years, and I've really been missing something besides a good workout. It was that release, and I was aware of how much I had been pushing down what should be being let out in a safe manner. When we do things like that, like what I had done and what we all do in our own way, we're diminishing our humanness. It is part of our human experience to have anger and to judge people wrong. We all do these things. It's not bad. It might not feel good. And we might want to have the love and the beauty and the love over here all the time. And to have that, we have this too. It's part of being human, and there's no shame in that. That full range of emotion is what makes us full human beings, and it's really a beautiful thing. And there's an honor in loving yourself enough to recognize that this person, whoever it is you pulled up or whatever you pulled up, there's honor in that awareness of saying, hey, I did get upset about that. It really bugged me, and it's still bugging me. Why? What's going on with that? We aren't triggered until something needs healing. And you never know. If you're looking around, there might be a coupon for a free boxing class laying around, or, who knows what it is. For everyone, it's different. It just happened to be that for me. So perspective. Can you change your perspective? Because every interpretation we have and every interaction we have a judgment. We're projecting something and we're judging it as good or bad, nice or mean. annoying or beautiful. It all is us projecting something. When I had talked about, when we first started, I talked about how oblivious we are to how wrong we are. And that's because we're projecting and we have our own judgment. How do we be not so oblivious as we're self-aware? You know, my intention is that today, at least one thing in your life that hopefully you pulled something up you can look at a little bit differently. And it might be a week or two that it pops back up again in the car. But if you can have more awareness on one aspect of yourself, one relationship, one perception that you're making, it can have a ripple effect in all of them. But it's how do I see how I'm perceiving? Because we don't often stop and ask ourselves that. We might ask ourselves, well, am I being kind, or I'm so annoyed, I shouldn't be annoyed, I need to go read some more sacred book. You know, we don't always direct it into the going underneath to do the healing that it's calling us to do. So how else could that woman in the poem, how else could she have seen the situation? She could have thought it was funny, right? She could have thought, gosh, this poor guy hasn't eaten. You know, he's eating my cookies. Maybe he's really hungry, or left his wallet at home. She could have thought he's flirting with her. I mean, there's a million ways she could have interpreted that, except he's stealing my cookies, right? She could have, she just could have done a lot of things. And what the key was for her in that poem was that her inner was matching her outer, right? Inside, she was seething, but outside, she was being so kind. What did she say? She said, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye, right? Like the mismatch was in the inner and the outer. She said she tried to ignore it to avoid a scene. And for us, when the flag we can have for ourselves is my inner's not matching my outer, right? And it might be subtle, but if you feel like, I don't know, Kelly's sitting here talking and I'm so annoyed. She keeps pacing. Yeah, there's something like the inner might, but I'm going to sit here and smile. The inner might not be matching the outer, that there's something. Like those are the alert system that's built into our bodies that's there as a good thing. What is the conversation that you're having with yourself? What is the conversation that you're having with yourself about your event that you pulled up? Or your irritation, your angry piece? So I have a quote I'd like to read. It's from the Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. It says, a healthy perspective is the foundation of joy and happiness, because the way we see the world is the way we experience the world. Changing the way we see the world in turn changes the way we feel and the way we act, which changes the world itself. That's pretty huge. Or, as the Buddha says, with our mind, we create our own world. Isn't that beautiful? So, with that, I'm going to lead us in prayer. If everyone would like to close your eyes, take a breath. Let's bring in and know the presence of God. Know that God, that loving, vibrant energy that is spirit, that is the universe, that's in all places and all people and all things, is that essence that makes up all of our humanity, that whole range of emotions, the love, the joy, the irritation, the triggers. Those are all God. They are all part of our amazing oneness that we share, knowing that we are all connected and we are all made of this essence of this God stuff. And we know that as we are all one, as we go through our lives and go through our days, that we recognize and see that spirit, that life force, that love that is God in other people and in ourselves. Even in those irritating moments, we know that the presence of God is there for our growth and our expansion and that ever-changing and evolving life that is ours. It's beautiful. It is easy as we see and know and realize this truth of who God is, of what God is, of who we are and what God is, that we are one with God. I see all of us so relaxed in that knowing as we deepen into the truth of the love and the miracle that is God and the ease with which we heal and become more stronger and powerful souls on this planet, experiencing the love that is God, the love that is each of us. The love that is there in our relationships and connections with each other. And as I recognize and know these truths and know this ease of these truths for each one of us and for all over the world, I see and feel peace. I see all of our shoulders relaxing and our breaths deepening as we also feel this peace. We are all okay just as we are. We're perfectly wonderful and powerful and filled with love. I give thanks to know this truth. I give thanks for the ease with which we all delve into the deepening of our knowing of ourselves and our knowing of God. I give thanks for the beautiful way our lives unfold in this deepening. And I give thanks for knowing the truth of who God is in all of us. And as I know this truth, I release this word to the law, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that as these words are spoken and this prayer is said and done, we all go through life so beautifully deepening into who we are as spirits, as oneness. And so it is.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Much for your beautiful talk today. This teaching has greatly enhanced my life, and if it has enhanced yours, I would invite you to share your gifts and tithes at this time so we can continue to do this work in the world, not just in this community, but this area and in turn the rest of the world. So please place your hand over your heart and repeat after me, or actually say it with me, not after me. Spirit's abundance flows through me. Joyfully, I share my good. So it is.
You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station with the workday wind a blowing. I've got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in their faces, I see frustration growing, and they don't see it showing. Why do I? You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the reason for the sadness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. If there's any answer, maybe love can end the madness, maybe not. Oh, but we can only try. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful as you feel.
All right, so I am going to welcome Marie up. Oh, do you want to bring the money up and I will bless it before I welcome Marie up? Oh, so I just give great thanks for the abundance and prosperity that flows through this community, knowing that this money blesses each and every one of us in its divinity and its love. And so it is. All right, so now I will welcome Marie up to do announcements.
Okay. I think this goes back to the gentleman in the long-sleeve shirt. Hello. How are you? So here's the story. This went up, oh, Lord, I'm all over the place. I want to go here first because this is really, really important. We're going to come back to the 40 days of prosperity, which are super important. But next Sunday, we won't be here. We will be at Reverend Leah's ordination in Loveland. So it's at the First United Presbyterian Church. We can give you the address if you need it. All the information's on the website, but we won't be here in this building. And if you come here at 5 o'clock, it will be too late for you to get to Reverend Leah's ordination on time because it's at 4. So, please remember, next Sunday, and it's going to be a super beautiful service. Reverend Leah is the queen of all ritual, beautiful things. So please join us for Reverend Leah's ordination next Sunday. Super important. Okay, now we'll go back to the 40 days of prosperity, which are really important. We are starting September 27th. We're going to have a kickoff meeting on Zoom, and we are starting, this is the last week to sign up for this. We're starting the 40-day prosperity program, the John Randolph Price program, on September the 28th. So what will happen is if you sign up, it's free to sign up, it's free to participate. We will give you a link to it's like a texting program called Slack. And every morning you will get a prosperity message that you can affirm. It'll be a brief affirmation. You can affirm and then meditate on that. And then you can share your comments on Slack and everyone will be able to see them and share them. It's like a group text. So please participate in this. It's very exciting to do this. I love John Randolph Price's work. Every morning for 40 days, you'll get to participate in this. And this is a practice not just for the whole community, but for each of you individually. So if you would like to experience greater prosperity in your life, please join us for this, because it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for everyone to affirm prosperity in their lives. Very exciting. Okay, Mr. Will Divine. Will is here. He's holding his hand up in the back, and he is going to be doing a rewiring neural pathways program to help you thrive. Will, can you summarize in 30 seconds for us what this is going to be all about? And come up here and do it in the microphone and don't yell at me from the back. Because no one online will be able to hear you, and there's lots of people online who want to hear you.
Hello. Julie was talking about rewiring earlier, and I happened to, basically my life was saved by a program called neurosculpting. I was sober for a year. I was really angry, really sad, really sullen. Angry, sad, sullen. Think of the first letters. And that's how I was being. So what I want to do is I want to teach you some neurosculpting techniques and some tools to help you rewire. And if it goes well on that day, I may offer a 3-part series afterwards. So please feel free to come. It's free. And October 2nd. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Will. And that's from 3:30 to 4:30 prior to our service on October 2nd. So feel free to sign up for that. And we're also doing a class, which I'm super excited about, self-mastery. This is one of the Science of Mind classes. The emergence of the true self. Reverend Leah is going to be, I'm talking about this like somebody's going to change that slide while I'm standing here, and they're not. That's what's happening. Reverend Leah is going to teach this class. It begins October 13th. It focuses on healing the perceived separation between personality and spirit and gaining mastery in the art of living as a conscious, intentional being. So I'm super excited about this class. Please come and join us for it. This is one of the few Science of Mind classes that I have not taken yet. I believe the textbook for this is Living the Science of Mind. If you already have that, then you already have the textbook for the class. So join us for that. Starting in October, we will no longer be providing dinner after service, so bring your own meal or a soup to share. We're ready to do the sort of hybrid potluck kind of thing again, getting back together. It's not going to be a total potluck thing, but if you want to make a soup and bring it along in a crock pot, we'll share soup and still have time after service to chat together and be together. And everything else, I think, is available in the newsletter, which you can find online. So I'm going to turn this back over to Christine.
All right, so I am here to remind you that your practitioners are always available to pray with you and for you. So I will be available after service. So if you would like prayer, you can find me up here and we can pray together. And thank you for being with us this evening. So let's all stand for a benediction and then our peace song. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all beings.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I